Dave, just heading into this Western Conference Finals, your emotion after Game 7, we saw it in the tunnel. How do you, I guess, I don't know, how are you feeling as you enter this? I know it's very special. It was a goal of yours.
Yeah, I mean, it's a great feeling. We've been through, it seems like everything, from ups and downs over the last few regular seasons, losing, 8 of our top guys 4 years ago. And, it's always been people just saying what we couldn't do, what we, weren't capable of. And as a backcourt, myself and CJ, our team, it's always been, a cap put on what we could do. And, it just felt like after each season, a lot of people thought they were right because we would come up short in the playoffs and got swept back-to-back seasons. And we just kept believing. We stuck to what we, have been building. We stuck to believing in each other. So to get over that hump and to make it to this point, it's really rewarding. Just because we know that we've leaned on each other, we've worked hard, and we've been to the bottom. We felt what the bottom feels like. So to get here is, it feels like a great accomplishment, but it's not done. We're not showing up here just to say we got to the Western Conference Finals.
David, your thoughts on playing in Oakland, particularly with this being the last year that Oracle is going to be up and running?
I think it's a storybook moment, just to for them, this being the last year playing in Oakland. Me growing up here, I had season tickets a few seasons to come watch the Warriors play, and it's a special ending. So hopefully it'll end the right way for us.
What are some of your fondest memories of Oracle? I know you've asked that question quite a bit, but maybe in a reflective mode now.
I remember one time I think I was in the 4th grade, maybe. I was in the 4th grade, and at the time the mascot was Thunder, and he wore his suit, so we never knew what he looked like. And I remember after one game, me and my cousin, we stayed in the arena. He stayed in the arena, and they cut the lights out, and it was nobody there. At the time they weren't a championship team, so the security was probably a little bit worse than it is now. And I just remember walking out of the arena, me and my cousin, we walked out of one of the tunnels, and there was a bag sitting there. It was like a little backpack, and my cousin was like, "I'm about to look in this backpack," and I was like, "Open it up." So he opened it up, and it was Thunder's suit was in there. It was his part of his suit was in there, and there was some Nikes in there that he used to wear with his suit. So we standing there, open up the bag, and then this bald-headed dude come walking out, and he like, "Hey, what y'all doing in my bag?" And it was the mascot. It was the dude who had been the mascot the whole time. So I thought that was a pretty funny experience.
You had a quote the other day where you talked about pressure, and you put it in context. Somebody asked if you felt you were under pressure playing that last game, and you said no pressure is trying to put food on the table. Can you elaborate on that?
I mean, I think there's pressure in sports, and just with getting our job done, and I guess dealing with what people might have to say about our performances or what we do. But nothing really changes other than what people have to say. We'll still get paid, and our lives will still carry on the same. So there is pressure in sports, and it's challenges in sports, but it's some people who just face a different level of challenges in real life. Where things can really be affected in a different way than it might affect us as far as pressure.
What is it like having that laid on you?
Having what laid on me?
That kind of pressure, the expectations of fans elsewhere, fans of your team, to bring it up, to win that game last night, to win this series, to go on. I mean, that's all.
I mean, I think it's a decent amount of pressure. It's something that we all sign up for, and that we put ourselves in position to have, that type of pressure placed on us. But I think I could speak for a lot of athletes. It's no greater pressure that you could put on us than we put on ourselves. So I think that, that makes it easier to deal with. We expect a lot from ourselves. So it's one thing for everybody else to have these expectations and want this and want that, but nobody wants it for us more than we do. So it's not as bad as it might seem.
You relish it?
Yeah, absolutely.
Dan, I saw a quote today saying that you felt like the Warriors might be due to be beaten. So I'm curious to your comments about that.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't say that for one. He was ear hustling on the conversation I was having with somebody else, and I wasn't even talking about the Warriors, so that was unprofessional. And I was disappointed by that, just because you don't try to ear hustle and then quote me as saying something that I didn't say, especially when you're standing right next to me and you could have just asked me. And I see you standing there, so why would I just say something that I don't want you to hear or something like that, instead of you just asking me before you go put something out there like that. So that was unprofessional, and me and him, we don't have nothing else to say to each other.
Dan, you made the shot to beat the Warriors here in December. How significant was that to you, and how much have you thought since then about getting back here to this point? It's kind of unfolded, I imagine, the way you hoped.
Yeah, I mean, it was a great way to go out in that series. It was a lot of back and forth. It was an emotional series, and we fought hard and have a great ending like that. It was really cool, but we moved on from it. We've handled business, and now we wanted the Final Four teams playing, and we're looking to continue that.
Speaking of another shot that you took, that 38-footer, when did you realize, hey, maybe I can start hitting these, or was there a moment where you realized that 30 feet was not a bad shot for you?
I mean, I've always been able to shoot the ball from pretty far, but I think over the last year I've really spent a lot of time actually working on that, making that a quality shot. And coming into this season, it was something that I knew I was going to do more of. And just extending the defense. After last year in the playoffs, I was getting a lot of attention and getting trapped and double teamed and blitz and stuff like that. So it was just part of the solution of me making it harder for teams to do that to me.
Did Curry's success with that shot play into that at all?
No.
When you've played in Oakland before, in the regular season, particularly in the playoffs, once the game starts, does it seem like just another game, or are you at a different level emotionally, given your history in Oakland?
No, I think once the game starts, it's just another game. But I think just the fact that you know what's on the line makes it a little bit different. So when you start playing, it's the same. The ball bounces the same. You run the same plays, same coverages, whatever. But I think it's the thought in your mind of knowing, like, we could go down 1-0 or you can be up 1-0. Just that thought, I think that's the only thing that makes it a little bit
Do you
different.
think about your personal history at all, maybe leading up to like today or last night after you won, given your history in Oakland?
No.
You excited to see the Currys kind of match up in this series a little bit, kind of a high-profile situation like
Not really. I mean, it's cool that, brothers get to play in the Western Conference Finals. I think that's a pretty cool story. Their parents will have to decide, which side they're going to take. But, I mean, I wouldn't say I'm, looking forward to the matchup. It's our team versus their team.
And just in general, how do you feel like you guys match up against them? I mean, you split the series. This is the first time in this playoffs you guys are playing a team you at least split the regular season series with.
Yeah, I think we match up pretty well with them. I think our last series they had guys like Paul Millsap and Jokic. They were huge bodies in the paint. They gave us a lot of trouble on the glass. When they threw it on the block, it was just a handful. We had to double team and put ourselves out of position to rebound the ball a lot of times. So, they gave us a lot of trouble with their size. And I think with Golden State, it's much more of a perimeter-oriented team. We know they're going to do a lot of screening and cutting and shooting a lot of threes and stuff like that. Not really throwing the ball on the block and stuff like that. So I think it's a much better matchup for us as far as personnel.
And your guy, you know Draymond a bit too. You guys are
Yeah.
somewhat close. Can you talk about that relationship a little bit?
No, Draymond, I remember me and him came out in the draft together. He was a second-round pick, and I just remember at the combine and when we went to the draft and all that stuff, all the players, we spent a lot of time around each other, and I just remember Draymond was always talking, just not talking trash, but he was just really vocal. Even in our meetings at the rookie transition, in our meetings, we was in the same group, and he was one of the most vocal guys there. So he's the same now as he was then. So I think it's pretty cool to see that he hasn't changed the kind of person that he is. But I always told him, and he'll tell you this, I used to always tell him, like, you're gonna stick and you're gonna end up being like Carlos Boozer. That's what I always used to tell him, because I used to tell him, like, I think Carlos Boozer was a late pick, and then he ended up getting like a big deal after that first one was up, and I always saw that for him, and I used to tell him that all the time. So it's funny that he's become who he's become.
He said something that after that 38-footer. He said he plays like a guy from Oakland. What does that mean for you? What does that mean to you? What is that definition? Plays like a guy from Oakland.
I mean, I'm not sure. I think just toughness, fearless. Just go out there and compete and play the game. Back down from nobody. When he says it, I think he says it with other Oakland players in mind. And he lives in Oakland, so I mean.
Dan, how do you balance this moment where, like, you want to focus obviously on this series, but just to take it all in and actually just appreciate and, I wouldn't say get excited about, but just relish in this moment that you're going to the Western Conference Finals?
I think it's important for us to enjoy it. It is an accomplishment, and it's important for us to make sure that we understand that. We shouldn't just be here uptight and stuff like that. We need to be happy about what we've done and how far we've come, and enjoy it, and also understand that our work is not done. You want to continue. We don't play to make it to the Western Conference Finals. You play to have a chance to win a championship, and I think that's been our attitude all along, and we got to continue that one round at a time. Now we're in the third round, so we should enjoy it. We got to have fun, but keep our focus and play to win.
What is your confidence level that you can win this round?
Really confident. Like Casey said, we split the season series with them, and I think that said, and we've won on their floor and on our floor. So I think that says that we know we're capable of winning. We know we're capable of beating them. We just got to go out there and do it. We got to put it on the floor.
What are the best attributes of Terry?
The best attributes of Terry? I think some of the best things about Terry as a coach, I think for one is just how laid back he is. I think sometimes you have coaches that want to control everything. It's my way or the highway. This is how you have to be. Don't do this, don't do that. And he couldn't be further away from that. I think you see a lot of guys come to Portland and they get comfortable because of the freedom that he allows you to have. How comfortable he makes sure that everybody feels a part of it. Everybody feels like what they do is needed, and he does it by out of timeout plays. He's calling back-to-back plays for Rodney Hood, and then back-to-back plays for Enes Kanter, and the freedom and just how he encourages guys to be who they are. Do what you do. Don't be afraid to do what you do, and then allowing them to do it. Through mistakes and maybe not playing well. Build confidence regardless of what their history is. I mean, we've had guys come from not playing at all to having a big role on our team. Guys who been waived or whatever, and they come have a big role on our team. And I think a lot of that is because of the freedom he allows and how he builds guys' confidence up.
What members of your family are going to make it out to the arena?
I mean, I have probably 15 of my closest family members. Expensive ticket around here, man.
It's about to get more expensive next year.
I know.
Is your grandmother still around?
Yeah, but she won't be there.
Do you still have any of your contacts in Oakland? Anybody that you grew up with who's coming to this game?
I mean, like I said, I'm going to keep it small. I think in the regular season, I usually have a bunch of people come to the games. But right now, I mean, obviously I still have the same contacts. I grew up with these people. I spent, most of my life around them. We still speak on a regular basis, but it's just not a situation where I'm going to be, it's not a party. I'm going to have my closest family come to the games, like I said, but then that's it.
When people ask you where you're from, what do you say?
East Oakland. Brookfield.
You mentioned earlier other great players.
What do I say?
How much did that drive you? How conscious are you of the history of Bill Russell, Gary Payton, Jason Kidd?
I'm aware of it. Growing up in Oakland, you know the history of Oakland because everybody's so proud about it. You know, Bill Russell, Gary Payton, Brian Shaw, Hook Mitchell, Jason Kidd, Antonio Davis. You know everybody that comes from your area across every sport. Ricky Henderson, Darian Gordon. You know all these people because Oakland is so proud, and everybody is like, that's my cousin on my mama's side, and everybody's claiming them because they're just so proud. So you're definitely aware of it. So I think now to be a part of that history is pretty cool.
What do you think of Jason? I don't know if you heard Jason Kidd. Is he being inducted into the Bay Area Sports Hall of Fame? So if you had to pick a point guard from Oakland, he said I'd pick Dame hands down. What do you think about that?
That's pretty cool. I actually went to the high school Jason Kidd went to for 1 year. I went to St. Joe's for 1 year. And I didn't get the chance to be Jason Kidd there, but I made it to the NBA, so that's pretty cool for Jay Kidd to say something like that.
And last night, I didn't get a chance to talk to you about E.T. stepping up. How important has it been having various role players step up like E.T. did last night?
It's been huge. I think to reach where we've reached so far, it's not going to be 1 or 2 or 3 guys that can get it done. It takes the entire team. And if you look at Golden State, everybody will say KD, Steph, Clay, but look at what Draymond's had a monster postseason. Look at Andre Iguodala, Kevon Looney. They've been getting it from so many different guys that it allows you to make a deep run. And I think the same goes for us. Everybody says what I've done and what CJ's done, and Rodney Hood maybe, or Enes Kanter, but Mo Harkless, Chief, E.T., Zach Collins, Myers, we getting so much from so many different guys that it's allowed us to do so much more. And it's been better that way. I think it's a reason why we're in the Western Conference Finals, and it's not just because of a few guys, it's because of what we've been able to get from so many guys stepping up.
In 2007, what did it mean for you for the Warriors to go as far as they did? Obviously, right outside the visitors' locker room was that dent from
Yeah, I remember.
Did you go to any of those games?
I was at the game against Utah when Baron Davis dunked on Andre Kirilenko. I was there, so that was crazy. I remember I couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe the Warriors was actually doing that. It was crazy. Some tough years before that.
Rick Popovich just said that more than people understand, Draymond Green is the driving force behind that group. If you guys were going to try to deal with that driving force, in what way would you do it?
As far as dealing with Draymond Green,
Do you agree?
I think he is, because like I said, he's always vocal. Whether he's playing good or playing bad, whether they're winning or whether they're losing, he's the same. His energy is the same. And I think when you have guys who you count on to make shots, and Steph, Clay, KD, you count on them to be so high-powered offensively, it's going to be nights where they don't have that, or they missing shots, or a team has a good game plan to stop them. And when you got a guy on your side that's constantly in your ear on both ends of the floor, constantly pumping that life into the team, and that's on edge all the time, it keeps everybody locked in. And I think that's the role he plays on their team. He's willing to hold them accountable, even though people consider them better offensive players than him, or hold them in higher regard than him. He doesn't care. And to be a champion, you need to have somebody on your team like that. And I think that's the biggest difference in the world for them that people don't always pay attention to, because it's not the best look. So I'm not sure how you combat that or how you take that away, other than just go out there and beat them. You're not going to always be able to take away, something like that. But anybody can be outplayed and anybody can be beat.
When you
We have time for 2 more questions, and we will wrap it up.
when you were growing up in Oakland and going to those games, this is really a 2-part question with one answer. Could you envision yourself in this spot now? And if you could go back and talk to that kid you used to be, what would you tell him?
I never looked this far ahead. I think in my career, 7 years, I've accomplished so much that it was always just make it to the NBA. I never said, I want to be Rookie of the Year or All-Star and all this stuff. I never looked that far into it. But I do remember going to it was like a high school playoff game I was at Oracle. And I was with my brother and my dad. And when we was walking out the arena, I told them, I was like, the next time I play here, I'm going to be in the NBA. I said that to them. And like, I remember exactly where we were walking out of the Coliseum when I said it. So I think that's pretty cool. But I'm not sure what I would say to myself back then, because even back then, you couldn't tell me that I wasn't going to make it to the NBA.